Hello and welcome to Watch Max's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. 1 week on the wrist. 1 week on the wrist is the format which I always present when I have a new watch and the watch remains on my wrist for a full week. About a week ago I received my Archimede Klassik 200, which I spontaneously purchased and ordered when I saw the announcement of Archimede, because I really like the design and it was a design which I really wanted to have in my collection since I didn't have it. And with the hardened case, the water resistance, it was a watch for me which I wanted to go for, and I have not been disappointed. So enjoy the 1 week on the wrist format and see what I have to tell you. Today it finally arrived, my Archimede Klassik 200, a watch I'd been waiting for about 10 days, and I'm absolutely excited. It feels pretty comfortable on the wrist, and with the exciting shivering dial, the hard case, 200-meter water resistance, luminescent hands and markers, I'm totally excited to share my week on the wrist with you, so stay tuned and get my new infos any day. It's day 1, Friday. It's about 10 past 10. I hope you can see it on this video. And the Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. I already can say that this is a watch which surprised me in many ways. Things I didn't expect, I haven't seen from the product photos on the website. And a real surprise in many cases. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you a bit more in detail of that watch. I really do like it. It's comfortable on the wrist and it had closed the gap in my collection. I didn't have a classical classy dress watch with a white or silverish dial. The one closest to that is the Stova Icarus, but it's not a real silverish dial, it's a little darker, and this what really closes the gap. It's a classical watch without being boring, so I really love it. And tomorrow I'm going to tell you a bit more in detail what I saw, what surprised me, and what I really do like. Yeah, it's day 2 of my 1 week on the wrist. It's about 10:40. As you can see, the Archimede is still on my wrist and it feels pretty comfortable. I had it on my wrist the whole night, as I do it with all my watches, and what I can say is the readability throughout the night is okay. The luminescent power is not as good as for divers watches, but it's completely sufficient to read the watch for about 2-3 hours with my strength of my eyes. Maybe others can read the watch longer, but actually I didn't expect it from a dress watch with these limited amount of luminescent color on the watch. In general, the readability is not as good as for divers watches with the silver hands on the silverish dial, but I did know that in advance, so that's not a complaint. It belongs to the style of the watch. Today I'm going to make footage for five watches in total, and one of them will be the Archimede. And in my tonight's sessions I'm going to show you a summary of what I identified, what I like, what I saw, and give you a brief overview about some details of the watch. It's day 2 of my 1 week on the wrist. It's about 8 o'clock and the Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. But actually I didn't manage it to make any video footage today. I had to take care of my wife and my dog. And enjoyed the day, so I'm going to make some more video footage tomorrow. But there's one thing I would like to mention, and that's the luminescent color of the watch. On the Archimede website, it seems to be the case that both the hands and the indices are filled with blue Lume color, and that's not the case. The hands are green at night, and that gives a really, really nice night shot. And either tomorrow or the day after, when I have set up my video equipment and my setting and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to show you this in a more detailed video and more video footage. It's absolutely great. Well, I do love the watch. It's a very comfortable watch, and a lot to say about the watch, which I will do over the coming days. I think it's going to be a keeper in my collection for any event which is a little bit more formal, and you need a more classy watch which is neither out-fashioned nor boring, and that's the Archimede 200 Klassik for me. Great watch, I love it. Yeah, it's Sunday morning, day 3 of my 1 week on the wrist. My Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. A great watch, extremely comfortable. And what I did is I changed the strap. Now I have a black shell cordovan band strap attached with the black stitching. I'm not quite sure if I do like it better than the original with the white stitching. Surprisingly, I think that the watch is not as versatile as I thought it should be. I don't think brown straps really fit to the watch. So well, I'm going to show you that during the week and take another couple of shots. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my first impression. It's Sunday night. Day 3 is going to an end. My Archimede 200 Klassik is still on the wrist. A beautiful, gorgeous watch, really wonderful. Today I played around a little bit with straps, which I'm going to show you right after the text I record right now. And I did some footage to identify why I think the watch appears to be smaller than the 39mm would tell from the core specs. And this also is something I'm going to show you right after this footage I take here. Today has been a pretty busy day for me. I took footage of 5 watches in total, around about 2 hours. So I can show you a couple of watches over the coming weeks. Interesting watches. I'm totally excited, look forward to it, and I'm really curious to read your comments and hear what you think about the watches to come and the Archimede in particular. It's Monday morning, day 4 of my 1 week on the wrist. The Archimede Klassik 200 is still on my wrist. And there is one statement I made over the last couple of days I have to correct in a certain way. I said the luminescent power doesn't last very long. After a couple of hours, it can't be seen. And that's not 100% right. If it's really pitch dark, pitch black, then it can be read after several hours. It's bright enough. only if it's not completely dark, if the moon shines into the sleeping room or something like this. This kind of light already is enough to make it difficult to read the watch throughout the night. For a dress watch, it's fine for me, but I needed to correct that. The luminescent power is lasting all night. However, it's not as bright and shiny as I'm used to it from a diver's or a tool watch. It's Monday, day 4 of my 1 week on the wrist. We have 11:35 in the night, and today I did the detailed review videos, and during that I noticed that quite obviously my watch, my Archimede Klassik 200, is a very special one. It's a unique piece. Details in my detailed review videos. Just one point, it seems that this was unintended, not reproducible, and it's a unique piece, and I'm absolutely proud and I love it. Yeah, it's day 5 of my 1 week on the wrist. My Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. I've shown you a couple of shots, night shots, detailed shots of the case, so you've seen quite a lot of the watch already. And this morning I made unintendedly a special test for you. I crashed the watch against a metal piece of a staircase. And my first thought was, yeah, it started with SH. You know what I mean. It's not meant to be printed or recorded, but you know exactly what I mean. And then I had a really close and detailed look at the watch. I took a magnifying glass and I couldn't see a single spot. So the case hardening really does its job. It works, and that makes me feel good about the watch. And I still think it's a great package. It's really, really great release of Archimede, particularly given the price. Tonight there will be another shot, and I really think it's a definite keeper for me, particularly with the 2 different Lume colors. And I hope you join me in my joy. Oh god, it's not easy. And yesterday I did a detailed review about the watch. You will find it in the link over here. It's a 16 minutes review with quite a number of detailed shots and views and my opinion. So have a look, leave a comment, and tell me what you think about the watch. It's Tuesday evening. It's 11:15 p.m. My Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist, and I can only tell you good things with one exception about that watch. It's a watch which is on my wrist, and I don't notice the watch most of the time extremely comfortable until the point when I look at the watch, and that's the moment when I think, what a beautiful watch. It really pleases me. A really, really nice watch. I like the two-tone case with the dark and shiny parts. I like the hands. I like the shape, the size, the weight. Absolutely great, with one exception, and that's the readability in twilight conditions. With the silverish dial, the silver indices, the silver hands, it is not always the case that you can read the time immediately in twilight conditions. Sometimes you have to twist the wrist a little bit and then you can read it, but this is something which I expected given the color combination of the watch, so no blame on that point. It's something I really accept. I don't like it, but I accept it since I really do love the rest of the watch. It's a Wednesday morning, day 6 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. It's a great watch, I still love it, and I'm really, really glad that I, without further ado, just ordered it and didn't think too much about. So absolutely great, and I really enjoy the watch every day. This morning my detailed review went live. It was the first video review on YouTube, and it was mine, so I'm totally glad. And when I see the comments under the videos, I think this watch is really, really a big shot from Archimede. Many positive comments. Always the hardened case, the price, and the overall design is emphasized. So I think this is going to be a real hot watch in the Archimede portfolio. Tonight I'm doing another take. Tomorrow it will be my summary, and I try to do some shots and some impressions of the watch, which I haven't done so far, in order to complete this video. It's Wednesday night. It's close to midnight. My Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist. Oh, my dog is just coming. I've said quite a lot about the watch, and I don't think there is much new to be said. It's a very comfortable watch. It's extremely nice. It's robust. I crashed about a lot of things, and the watch doesn't have a single sign of that. So it's really keeping the promise it has made. One thing I can say, and I have to think how to phrase it. I think there are good reasons for a kind of educated guess to say that there are good chances that in the near future there might be a new and dedicated hardened bracelet for that particular watch. So I really look forward to it. You look a little bit left here, a little bit right, listen to the grapevine, and putting all this together, I think the chances are quite good. It's Thursday evening. We have 7:40 in the night. The Archimede Klassik 200 is still on the wrist, and it is a watch which has not disappointed me. It's a great watch, extremely comfortable to wear. There is one point which might eventually be disappointing, and that's the readability in twilight conditions. However, it is exactly how I expected it to be with the silverish hands and the silverish dial. So it's not a disappointment for me. It is exactly how I expected the watch to be. What absolutely convinced me is the robustness of the watch. Unintentionally, I crashed against some metal surfaces, and I really thought I would have signs of wear on the watch, and there is nothing at all. It looks mint, and that's absolutely great, and I really do love it, and it really proves the watch is hardened and absolutely scratch resistant, combined with the water resistance and the high comfort on the wrist. It is an absolutely great watch, and for the price tag of 880 euro, it is a wonderful package for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did producing it.